This is my watch list for Monday, August 3rd. All right, so what's happening? The market is gapping up over the weekend because Trump was going to strike Iran and he decided not to, okay? So markets are up on that news. You see here, stock market, Dow futures gain as Trump halts massive attack on Iran, Adcore, Alibaba, and Focus. Yes, there's a lot of earnings this week, okay, guys? But for now, let's just focus on the chart and the levels. So SPY is gapping up. We're gapping up above the 746 level I have and above 750, okay? As long as we hold these levels, then I can say we are temporarily bullish, okay? Now that doesn't mean that you guys can just buy calls and hold through the midterms, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if we still see quite a bit of volatility into August, September, October, okay? So be careful thinking that this is just going to be some bull breakout and the market's gonna rally like it did in March and April, all right? So 750 is a level we can watch today, as well as 746. If we get holds there, we can look for longs. If we get a pop into this 755, 756, I will be shorting. This is very big supply, okay? 755, 756. If we get there today, I will be looking to short, all right? QQQ, big level, 696. This was the high from Friday, so pivot from back here, pivot here. All right, if we get above 696, we're gonna get at least a push into 700. And if we break 700, we can see that continuation back up into that 710 supply, right? Vice versa, if we see downside, it looks like Qs are actually weaker than SPY today, only at 0.34% versus SPY at 0.58%, okay? Vice versa, if we see downside on the Qs, 680 is my level now. It was 686. That level has been taken out and chopped around. So now it is 680. Okay, 680 was the lows from Friday, pivot from back here last Wednesday. If the Qs break below 680, this is a short all the way back into these areas, right? Potentially low 660s or even 650s, okay? Apple, I still like this 320 reject. I mentioned this last week. Downside after earnings, we broke this key level. If we get a pop and fade off of that 320, I like Apple for short. AMD reclaimed my big 460 level, but this is the must-hold level. If you're a bull on AMD, if you're swinging calls, if you're looking to trade AMD longs, has to hold 460. If it doesn't, we're going back to 420. Okay. Amazon, one of the strongest names after earnings, right? It made a 15% move on what was this, Thursday or Friday? Yeah, and it just ripped. It ripped and rallied, and now it's almost at all-time high. So previous all-time high is 278. From back here in May of 26. If we reclaim all-time high, we can look for longs. It is a bit, this has already made a really big move, so I don't want to be super aggressive with this, but we can look for longs if we start holding, breaking and holding that previous all-time high, 278. Google, I'm not watching anything today. This is also a strong chart. Since earnings is a strong chart, it's been reclaiming. I will say that it's a strong chart, and I'd be careful shorting. Meta, 580, big level. If we reclaim that, we can look for longs. If it fails, can look for shorts. Simple as that. Netflix is holding my 71. This is my big demand on Netflix, right? This has to hold now. If you're a bull, long-term bull, it has to hold. Why? Look at this. Not only is it big support, right? 70 is big support. I showed you guys that level on the daily chart. There's also now a trend, okay? So if we break this trend and lose back below 70, this is going to get really aggressive, right? So if you are a long-term shareholder in Netflix, at this point, I would say make sure it holds 70, okay? Otherwise, it can get kind of nasty, okay? PLTR has earnings after hours today. I will not be trading this. However, I will be watching to see what happens post-earnings, right? Do we get a rip? Do we sell off? Not sure yet. Let's wait and see what happens after earnings, and we can catch this name probably later this week once the earnings volatility is settled. Nvidia, so this is an interesting name. We like this for longs over 198. Brett and I took this long on Friday over 198. Got a nice move into 202, but this, I think this could potentially just be a false breakout. A fake reclaim of 200 because it's already starting to sell pre-market. It's red, while a lot of names are green. Nvidia is red. If this gets back under 198, turns into a bag, guys, and I'll be shorting, okay? That's what I'll be watching. Does 198 hold? This was our pivot on Friday. Does 180 hold? No. If it doesn't, then it turns into a sell back into 185. If we lose 185, it goes all the way back to 190. Okay, so that's what I'll be watching on Nvidia. And that's my watch for today, guys. All right, so let's have a good week. I'll see you guys on live.